Hello, everyone. My name is John Brenneman. I'm the president here at MOAA Vacations. Want to thank everybody for joining us today. We are joined by our good friend Kelly Pulaski from Atlas Ocean Voyages. I'm going to start out. We have a number of people today who are new to MOAA Vacations, so I'm just going to real briefly talk about MOAA Vacations, kind of go through how we set up these signature groups for if and when you decide to join us, and then I'm going to turn it over to Kelly. Kelly is going to share with everyone more information about Atlas Ocean Voyages, and then we are actually going to kind of go through like day by day this upcoming Western European cruise from Dublin to Porto. We'll touch also on some of the 2027 signature groups on Atlas, but that's going to be the focus of it. At the end, Kelly and I are going to host a Q&A. In fact, while Kelly's doing her presentation, I will be answering questions during her presentation, and then we'll revisit them all at the very end. So if at any point you have any questions, if you take your cursor and you move it to the bottom of the screen, you should see a little like conversation bubble with a question mark in it that says Q&A. If you're on a tablet or your phone, you might want to put your finger down there, it'll pop up. If you don't see that Q&A, there's a round circle with three dots in it. If you click on that, it says more. That will show you all the icons, and you can just type your questions there in the Q&A. We are recording this, so this evening you'll receive an email with a link to YouTube. If you would like to share this presentation with any friends and family, or if you want to kind of go back and see anything that was discussed during the presentation. For example, let's say you want to go back and hear about the itinerary again. We did start at the top of the hour, so I kind of let people know if there's something that kind of comes up you're interested in, just kind of look at your phone or your watch or your clock at your house and see what time it is. And then when you get the webinar, if it's 35 minutes in that Kelly starts talking about the itinerary, then instead of having to watch or kind of fast forward and look for it, you know exactly where to go. All righty. So I'm going to get going. I see we have a question already, so I'm going to get to that as soon as I'm done. Mine's going to be pretty quick. But for those of you new to MOAA Vacations, we are the official travel agency of MOAA. We started working with MOAA way back in 1998. For those who've been around as long as I have, back then it was TROA, and we went by TROA Vacation. So we have a long history of working with members. And kind of real quick, the things that make us kind of unique from probably the other travel agencies, the first thing we always talk about is our superior level of service. We actually provide travel on a satisfaction guaranteed basis. We're the only travel agency in the United States that does that, and it means exactly what it says. If you have any problems, questions, or concerns, either before or during your cruise, you reach out to MOAA Vacations. In almost all instances, you're going to talk directly to me. If I am, say, out of the office for an extended period of time on vacation, you may speak to Mike Tyrell, our vice president. But normally I handle those. And what I do is if there's an issue or concern, I reach out to our good friends like Kelly at Atlas and we get that resolved. If you've ever had a problem cruising before, I know a lot of you probably have a lot of cruises you've done in the past and had an issue. The industry average is 6 to 8 weeks to get an answer when you have a problem on a cruise. We get you an answer within 48 hours. We do guarantee the lowest prices. Obviously, nobody's going to be satisfied if they pay too much. In fact, in a lot of times, we can actually get prices lower than you could get from going direct to Atlas or going through another agency. We do have a free amenity program. These are added kind of bonuses, offers, savings, those types of things. Basically, our preferred partners recognizing you as a member of MOAA for your past and continued service. Atlas participates. You will receive a $100 per person onboard credit on any Atlas cruise that you book, any itinerary, any departure date, and that's just kind of their thank you to you for your service. And then we have group opportunities. But kind of one thing I want to say in the group opportunities, well, obviously what we're going to talk about today, which is your opportunity to travel with your fellow MOA members, not only from your local chapter or your local city, but from all across the country. That added camaraderie, that sharing the experience of going to these locations with fellow members, we hear all the time about how much that adds to their vacation experience. And I want to make one thing clear, and that's anything we offer to MOA members is also extended to any guests you bring with you. So family, friends, neighbors, whatever it is, they get the same service. They same get the lowest price guarantee. They get the MOA amenities. So even though it's for MOA members, it's literally for MOA members and their guests. And then we're talking about group opportunities today. Any groups that we have for MOA members, we want your vacation to be as much fun as possible. And if your vacation would be more enjoyable, bringing, family along, grandkids, siblings, whatever it might be, absolutely do it. So they're welcome on the groups as well. Okay, signature groups. What we're going to talk today about is what signature groups. And the reason somebody would go on a normal group would be for the savings and for the camaraderie of going with a group. The signature groups, I kind of describe them as groups on steroids because they add a lot more to that basic group premise of a savings and the camaraderie. And the first thing is they are hosted by MOA leadership and staff. They are there to ensure that everyone has a wonderful cruise. And also, it's an opportunity for the members to have dinner or a drink or just sit by the pool or in the lounge or whatever and talk to MOA leadership and learn more about what your association's plans are for the future, share your ideas, those things. The signature groups are escorted. I will be on the October 1st to the 10th, Dublin to Porto cruise. I will have a desk. I'm sure Kelly will mention Paula's Pantry, but it's sort of Atlas's Starbucks, for lack of a better word. It is complimentary. A lot of people come through in the morning to get that latte or the cappuccino, scone, whatever that would be. And so they have the desk for the hotel director, the cruise director, and I will have a desk right next to them. You will see me breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day, and I am there to do anything I can to make your vacation more enjoyable. Stop by, say hi, say, John, this is what we're looking for. We always do onboard events. We do have a kind of an exclusive excursion. Kelly will talk about that. It's actually on board. But she'll talk about that. I mentioned already, friends and family are invited, and then there are rare opportunities. This year, we only did two signature groups. We did a river cruise back in July, and then this. So there's a lot that goes into these. And one of the things I'd mention is we have the entire ship, which is always our goal when we do these signature groups. When we block the space, we block the entire ship. And so we'll get to that in a second. So what do you do when you decide that you want to join us on the cruise? The next slide kind of this is the upcoming signature groups, I'm sorry, with Atlas Ocean Voyages. So we're going to focus today on the October 1st through the 10th, 2026, Western Europe. We do have two of them next year, which we'll touch on a little bit. If you want more information, let us know. We do have a website that we have designed for all of these. So each signature group has its own website. Okay, so now, the website. Oh, pictures. Sorry, I'm off today, Kelly. For some
That's
reason, I couldn't pull up my little PowerPoint to keep where we are. Okay, a couple of images real quick. The top one is we did a signature group with Atlas last year for the Greek Isles. As I mentioned, we had the entire ship, and so that top picture is the image of our group at the bow of the ship. And it was a fantastic time. 92 staterooms. We had about 180 people on board. We had a wonderful time. The lower pictures are we will do onboard events, onboard activities. We like to have cooking demonstrations. In fact, we have a cooking contest. The middle one kind of shows that there's live entertainment on board. And we actually have live entertainment throughout the cruise at both of the venues. And then just a shot of the pool because a lot of times when people are on cruises, they want to make sure that there is a pool on board. Okay, let's see the next slide. Okay, so now we are to our website. So this is a screenshot or an image of the website for this Dublin to Porto cruise. As you can see, it has a number of tabs. If you can read those, everything from the pricing to the day-to-day itinerary, everything that's included in those types of things. So basically, everything that Kelly and I are going to talk about today is available online. When you receive the email this evening, to review the webinar. We'll also include a link to the website for those who don't have it yet. So all of this information is there. If you want to see the websites for the other signature groups, right underneath our MOA Vacations logo, you see that where it says signature groups. You can just click on that and you see all of the upcoming signature groups, which would be not only for 2026, the four that we have for 2027. On the pricing and accommodations, it is an all-suite vessel, but there's a variety of different suites. So you actually see a picture, a description, a layout of all the suites, and then the pricing by suite so you can decide which accommodations are best for you. When you decide that you want to join this cruise, we ask you to click on that big button that says book now. It's very simple. The information we want is just your name as it appears on your passport, your date of birth, address, email, and phone. We receive that. When we receive those book now forms, they are date stamped, which allows us to reach back to everyone in the order they are received. We only have 15 staterooms remaining on this cruise. It leaves within 2 months. So the ship is almost completely full. So in a number of cabin categories or suite categories, we only have one stateroom remaining. So it's important that we have some kind of order for when those come in. So as soon as you decide you want to go, fill out that book now form. Someone will call you up, answer any questions if you have them, let you pick your suite number, and then we'll accept payment at that time. So if you have questions or anything like that, of course, you can always call. You can always email us when we get at the end of the presentation. We have both our phone number and our email address. So you can reach out with questions. But once you decide to book, we want to make sure that we keep it in the order, for fairness, for lack of a better word. I will post the URL for this website in the Q&A as soon as I turn it over to Kelly, which I am going to do right now. So Kelly, tell us a little bit more about Atlas, and then we can go into the details about this cruise.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be here. I always love being on any of these MOA webinars. I want to start by just a very warm thank you to all of you for your service, your years of dedication. You keep our world and our country safe. We are super honored to have all of you sail with us on Atlas Ocean Voyages, and of course, your MOA hosts. I'm Kelly Popovsky, as John introduced me. I'm the Senior Director here of Sales at Atlas. Today, I want to introduce you to Atlas just a little bit, so you'll get to hear about our intimate yachting expeditions. We'll talk a little bit about our year-round expeditions, what our three pillars are that distinguish our brand, and then our always included approach by Atlas. And then, of course, what you're probably most interested in is the itinerary for the 2026 Ireland, France, and Spain voyage. But we'll start with our tagline, and that tells us a little. It tells you guys a little bit about us, and it's our intimate yachting expeditions. But we're going to start with expeditions. An expedition, you can see the definition here. It's just an expedition. It's a journey undertaken by a group of people with a particular purpose, especially that of exploration and discovery. When people think of an expedition, they often think of, the polar regions, but you can embark on a journey of discovery anywhere in the entire world. And that's how we approach expeditions here at Atlas. So whether we're sailing to Antarctica or to the Mediterranean or South America, we create this really immersive, authentic experience that leave people feeling kind of enriched and inspired, and changed for the better. I did Antarctica myself, and I can tell you that it is a life-changing experience. And I didn't think that it was going to be, and I think that was, definitely a miscommunication in my brain. But it really was amazing, and we set out to do that in every single part of the world that we visit. So just as an overview, you're probably pretty familiar with what a polar expedition entails. That's really to the Arctic or Antarctica. And these are definitely they're definitely the expeditions that really, really founded what Atlas Ocean Voyages set out to do, and we turn our travelers into explorers. But in every region we sail, for instance, you guys will hopefully be coming with us to, Ireland and Spain and France. Um, we set out to approach all of our voyages as expeditions. So we have our Epicurean expeditions. We're not going to super talk about those polar expeditions. I think you guys probably understand what they are. But with our Mediterranean, our Epicurean expeditions, that's always in the Mediterranean. That's really where we take a deep dive into the culinary culture of the Mediterranean. And we really think that, exploring the Mediterranean through the lens of food and wine, the culinary arts, it really is one of the more revealing ways to experience that part of the region or that region of the world. In Northern Europe, in South America, the Caribbean, that's where we have our cultural expeditions, and it really does offer these insights into the rare natural wonders and local folklore of the region. So we'll share a little bit more about what our year-round approach is to expeditions, but we'll talk a little bit about yachting because yachting is really at the core of what we do as well. So yachting, it's really an active experience as well as a leisurely and luxurious one. Our yachts are purpose built with this in mind. So it's this innovative engineering, cutting edge hardware, and also polar class certification. It's really all about active exploration, and the yacht's interiors and amenities are about relaxed and refined luxury. These are our yachts. We have three that are sailing on the ocean right now. We have World Voyager, Traveler, and Navigator. They are sisters, so if you know one, you know them all. They are 200 guests per yacht. So it really gives you that intimate, small kind of feel. It builds that really beautiful kind of bonding experiences, camaraderie. It's a great, great setting. World Voyager is more of like a kind of Baltic Nordic feel where World Traveler is kind of this more modern luxury aesthetic, and then Navigator is a little bit of a 1940s luxury feel. So they, even though they are sisters and they are exactly the same bones, the interior looks just a little bit different. Um, on board our yachts, we really do feature these beautiful social spaces that I'll show you in just a few minutes. And then our cuisine is really refined. It is for the refined kind of palettes, and we have these ever-changing menus depending on where we are in the world. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then we kind of move on to intimate. And this is, like I said, with yachting, with only having 200 people on board, you really get that intimate feel. And intimate in all of its meanings is really the perfect descriptor for Atlas Ocean Voyages. The goal of a yachting expedition is to gain that intimate knowledge of a destination, and we can really do that with how, intimate we are. Now we'll move into our pillars of distinction. This is where you really get to understand, you kind of understand what we are, but it's really more about how we deliver these intimate yachting expeditions. And so we're going to talk about our destination focus, our intimate and elegant yachts, and then our personalized service. So we'll start with our destination focus. This is our first pillar. It really, our unique focus on destinations is what allows us to create these year-round expeditions that are immersive, they're inspiring, they're educational. So in this list, you'll kind of see a few different things. That first key element that every voyage includes a complimentary immersive cultural experience. And that is what John was explaining to you guys, and I have it on my phone because I don't actually know what your immersive experience is. And so I can kind of revisit that in the end. But I did have it sent to me by Jason O'Keefe, who is our fantastic PR communications and everything on board experience. And so I'll definitely give you guys more information about that when we go into the Q&A. But we do these immersive cultural experiences that are really important to delivering um, how we focus so deeply in our destinations. It is definitely part of the voyage, and it's just really really a great experience. We also have a lot of which you'll see with that itinerary that I show you later. you'll see that we have overnights and we have longer stays. So it's really nice. You get to really immerse yourself into the destinations that we're in. So, like I said, we have these Atlas immersive experiences on every expedition. And so some of them are here. You can see a little bit of what we do when we include these. There's things like the Italian opera performance at the medieval Medici fortress in Livorno, which is absolutely beautiful. I've done the first one up there, which was the panoramic journey through the Tierra del Fuego National Park. It's absolutely gorgeous. Very, very windy, but just, I mean, views for days. It was absolutely gorgeous. So this is really uniquely curated. It's an experience that we've designed to connect the travelers to the heart and soul of a destination. What you can expect on every single immersive experience is engaging local experts. So we have local experts who are coming on and actually guiding you through this whole experience so that you feel like you really understand it through their eyes. They're very authentic experiences. So we're not just, it's not like a plug and play, just calling up a DMC and saying, or, just calling up like a local tour guide and saying, hey, how can we figure out what to do for our guests. Like we're really going diving deep, we're visiting these destinations, and we're finding really, really amazing local experts to create these experiences. We also do a lot of culinary discoveries. So when you're in the Mediterranean, in Europe, so you guys will experience something like that as well. You get to savor local flavors, and I think that's really important. Like I said, with looking at things through the lens of food and wine, you can kind of really understand that part of the world. We have a lot of hands-on activities and also small group explorations. So now you can really see how we focus on that destination, and you'll see some of the destinations. I put together some images. I gather a lot of information about the specific destinations that we'll be talking about in during for this itinerary. Um, but now that you can see how much we focus on destinations, this is definitely it has to be supported by two other really important brand pillars, and one of them is our intimate and elegant yachts. I mentioned that our yachts are engineered for active exploration. The hardware is really designed for our destination focus in mind, but the interiors and amenities we really offer that to be, it is designed to really create this atmosphere of relaxed and quiet luxury that defines that yachting experience. So Atlas caters specifically to discerning explorers. They're guests that have refined tastes. They, also appreciate a real sense of ease, a very, easy, relaxed, comfortable kind of vacation. They really do combine our yachts. They combine these beautiful furnishings that you can see in some of the images here, and just really luxurious amenities, and it invites this like beautiful ambiance and a real sense of like comfort, belonging, and camaraderie with your fellow guests on board. We do this whole après expedition cocktail thing every time you come back from your expedition or any your shore excursions, if you will, and really beautiful upper upper deck bar. You'll see there on the top image there. And it's our observation lounge. It has 270-degree overhead views. It's beautiful. You can see, I mean, just endless views. And up there is where you can get really, really, really nice cocktails. You can sit around. We also do high tea here. So it's just a really beautiful space. My favorite bar, though, is actually the one underneath there where it looks a little bit more relaxed. I loved my bartender in there, and that's who I was with all the time. And it was just absolutely perfect. And then, oh, and we did, I know John mentioned Paula's Pantry. So I do have an image of Paula's Pantry on the next slide, but Paula's Pantry is fantastic. I mean, I love a, iced shaken espresso with oat milk, and you can order that there, and it's all complimentary. Someone else asked for a flat white. I had no idea what that was, but they did, and they made it. So they definitely have these really just a wealth of knowledge of what you can order from there. And then there's also like little pastries and sandwiches. So it's definitely where you want to go if you're up at 6 a.m. and you want to grab a coffee. And then that final pillar is personalized service. And I leave this one for last because it's like last but not least. It's actually probably one of the more important ones for us. I've been on several different yacht experiences, both super yachts, smaller yachts, and I can just say our service is just bar none the absolute best. Um, I've I was absolutely floored. They remember your names. You walk through the lobby, and hi, Miss Kelly, how are you? And they would say hello to every single person, just feeling really warm and taken care of. It is really highly personalized service. You have that one-to-one guest to staff ratio, so it really does feel personalized. It feels intuitive. It never feels invasive, right? It's they kind of understand when to come to you and when not to. And oh, you need to fill up on your glass of wine at dinner. We've got you. You want another mimosa? We've got you. So they're very, very intuitive. We do offer 24-hour room service. And that's really, really wonderful because if at any point in time, maybe it's, you're feeling like you need a burger or something or a cocktail, maybe maybe you're a late night um, need of a whiskey, they could definitely bring that to you. We do have butlers in some of our suite categories as well. We do complimentary wash and fold laundry service in our suites, in our upper suites, the reserve suites, and then it's just this really genuinely super welcoming crew. And I think what's also really cool is while you guys are on off the yacht, we also allow a lot of our crew to get off the yacht. And so when you get back, you'll understand that, they're like-minded explorers just like you guys, and they get to experience a lot of the world that our guests get to experience. So it becomes part of the conversation when you're having dinner, like, "Oh, did you enjoy this? Did you see that?" Like they also saw it because we want them to see the world as well. And then are always included by Atlas. So this is our kind of our answer to your all-inclusive luxury experience. We include a ton. You definitely get your Atlas immersive experience on board or ashore. It can vary in different destinations. We also offer all food. Your food, your wine, your beer, spirits, all of it is included. We don't have upcharges for different types of foods or, better steaks or anything like that. It is all included for you. There is an upcharge on some of the wines if you're looking for a very specific wine, but because you guys will be visiting Bordeaux, you can bring wine back on board and they'll serve it to you at dinner, which is so wonderful. And there's no corkage fee. So I think that's a great experience too. If you've ever been on a river cruise, they kind of do that on river cruises too. So you can think of us as like river for ocean, coastal river. um, we also include your gratuities. All of this is online on the website that John had mentioned earlier. So you see all of those inclusions, but they're here as well. So it's just really nice that you really don't have to think about kind of all of the things, right? Your additional services and amenities, we chatted through all of our inclusions, but we did want to clarify a few things that were not included. Your reserve wines and spirits, like I said, there's kind of an upcharge for some of those like ultra premium. But I will say our premium liquors and spirits and wines are very, very good. I was drinking Macallan 12 every single day when I was in Antarctica. So that's kind of our call whiskey. But our optional there, we also have optional shore excursions and specialty dining events. We also do not include the spa treatment. But what I can say is that you also have this $100 onboard credit to spend on board, and that is exclusive to MOA members. So we definitely covered a lot of information, but I'd like to boil down the essence of intimate yachting expedition to one word, and that's connection. Intimate yachting expeditions turn all of our travelers that sail with us into explorers. They connect with new discoveries, cultures, people, and places. Connect with a genuinely caring staff that um, they're seasoned expedition experts. They share this fascination of the world just like everyone else on board. But these connections ultimately define who Atlas Ocean Voyages is and why we created our intimate yachting expeditions. We offer immersive, enriching, inspiring experiences that bring explorers together and really leave them feeling forever changed. But I think what's even more exciting is now we can really jump into that signature group. So here is just kind of a snapshot of what it is, but we'll go through each country. So I kind of grouped everything by country. But this is a gorgeous itinerary. You really get this beautiful taste of Ireland, France, Spain, and Portugal. We'll dive a little deeper into each of the destinations, like I said, kind of grouping them into the countries. So we'll start Ireland. Beginning your journey in Ireland, you're visiting both Dublin and Waterford, but your embarkation port is Dublin. You definitely want to fly in a few days early. Ireland's capital city is both ancient and cosmopolitan all at once. It's just amazing. I will tell you, I've never been. I am going in March with my kids and my husband for spring break when the kids are out of school. So I've done lots of research. I can share some of the stuff that I know I'm going to be seeing. Um, but here you're going to find marvels like the incredible Book of Kells. It's one of the most beautifully illustrated manuscripts of the world, and it dates back to 800 AD. You also want to visit Trinity College. It's Ireland's oldest university. It was incorporated in 1592. I'm a big history buff, so I love this kind of stuff. There's also Christ Church that was built by the Anglo-Normans in 1172. It replaced an earlier church that was built by the Vikings in 1038. It's like so cool. St. Patrick's Cathedral. My uncle was Patrick. He did pass, so we're going to go light a candle for him in his church. We're going to go to St. Patrick's Cathedral. That was also built in 1192. It's one of Ireland's largest cathedrals, but it was really made famous by its former dean, Jonathan Swift, who most of you probably know was the author of Gulliver's Travels. There's also Temple Bar. That's that picture that you can see on the screen there. It's just this really famous kind of Dublin institution. It dates back to 1840. It is lively. It is lots of music at nighttime mostly. It's kind of quiet during the day, but at night you get all of that really fun, um, violin and everything, the guitars. So it's just really fun. And then you'll also want to visit the Guinness Storehouse. That one is like 7 floors of just, discovering ingredients, history, advertising of the Guinness brand. And then there's also the Gravity Bar at the very top. So I think that's really beautiful too. You get these like 360 views of Dublin. Then we hit Waterford. Um, that is your actual first port of call because your embarkation is Dublin. So first port of call is Waterford. And that is actually Ireland's oldest city. It was founded by Vikings. So I think that's really cool. So you'll want to definitely visit the Viking Triangle, and that is full of medieval streets, Reginald's Tower. There's museum, historic buildings. It's just you can do that kind of all of that triangle in just a few hours. So that's kind of cool. If you're looking for really dramatic landscapes, and obviously you can't make it over to the Cliffs of Moher, that's a little bit further, but you get all of the dramatic landscapes, the coastline, the cliffs, the sea stacks, all of the hidden coves, and all of that. You can actually see that also in Waterford, and that's the Copper Coast UNESCO Global Geopark. So you get that whole feel of the Cliffs of Moher without all the tourist attraction. And then if you're a shopper like me, or if you're an avid collector of crystal, you'll definitely want to purchase some of their world famous high quality Waterford crystal right from the source. All right, so Ireland is probably the one I'm most excited about, so I spent the most time there. So then next port is La Rochelle. So we're kind of moving into France now. I love this because you get a little taste of lots of different countries on this itinerary. So you move into La Rochelle, and it really is this beautiful place to visit if you're looking for something a little more charming, laid back kind of French coastal town. It feels authentic without being like overly touristy. If I was there, I'd just kind of wander the beautiful old harbor. There's really historic streets. It's just really beautiful. Lots of kind of antique stores. Um, But it's just a great base for kind of exploring pretty villages, beaches, and bike paths. And then Bordeaux, which I think is fantastic. There really is no other region in the world more closely associated with these fabulous vineyards, with just the whole region is so beautiful. It offers about 60 appellations, 9,000 wine producing chateaux, and 13,000 grape growers. This is an overnight port, and it's right in we actually dock in Bordeaux city center, so you're definitely going to want to take advantage of the extra time there. You'll be able to go to or visit what's called the Golden Triangle. This is the historic district for architecture, shopping, and cafes. You're also really close to Castle Route, which kind of runs along the length of the Medoc Peninsula. So obviously Bordeaux, you're going to want to do wine. So this road passes 8 of the most famous chateaux, including Margaux, Pauillac, and Saint-Julien. And then we move into Spain. So this one is always a tongue twister for me. It's Gijón. So that's what it is. It is. From the antiquated architecture, you have that Plaza Mayor. You kind of see right there in one of the pictures. It You can see the ruins of the baths at Campo Valdez. There's just it really is so beautiful. It's located in the Asturias. It's the heart of Spain's cider production. So if you're into cider, you can sample some of the locally crafted beverages there. But along with their cider, you should definitely eat some of their seafood. They are abundant in seafood and they're known for it. And there's lots of beautiful coastal restaurants. Next, you'll go over to Bilbao. This is kind of on the northern edge of the Iberian Peninsula. It's a city with really historical ties to the Basque country. It's considered one of the most architecturally diverse regions in Spain. It is best known for one of its museums. You can see it's that really silver, beautiful, architecturally insane kind of building there. But it's best known for the Guggenheim. And it really stands as this like beautiful, shining example of some of the most innovative 20th century designs from world-renowned architect Frank Gehry. You might actually know him. He's had so many beautiful buildings, very, very different, very unique buildings. He actually did the Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles, which is a really, really famous building there. This is the port you should take the time to really stroll through those picturesque neighborhoods too. And then we end our journey in Portugal in Viana do Castelo. This is a really beautiful coastal town in northern Portugal. It's really perfect if you want that kind of like mix of history and scenery, relaxed local feel. It's known for its gorgeous hilltop, the Santa Lucia Basilica, which there's kind of like a bigger kind of image of the dome there. And then it's just this really charming old town. It has Atlantic beaches, fresh seafood. It's definitely less touristy than Lisbon or Porto. It makes it a great place to kind of slow down, end your beautiful journey, kind of wander the streets, have a long lunch because they do take a very long time at lunch. But it's just kind of the more authentic side of Portugal. And that is your full journey. I hope that, I've kind of painted a picture for you, and I hope that you are excited about it. We have a few staterooms left or a few suites left. So um, I'm sure, John will talk about it as well, but we are very excited to have you if you will join us.
Well, fantastic. Alrighty, so just as a reminder, if anybody came in late, if you have any questions, there is a little Q&A icon at the bottom. Just type your questions in there. Kelly and I will answer them. And if you don't see the little Q&A, there's a circle with 3 dots that says more. Click on that, and then you will see all of the icons. Okay, so we're going to start going through the questions that already came in. A lot of these I answered, but we are going to review them in case Kelly has anything to add. And the first one, Kelly, is someone is I apparently already booked. They are looking for the shore excursion brochure. For
Okay.
those who are not booked, that shore excursion brochure is posted on the website for this cruise. So when we talked about the tabs like pricing and accommodations and day-to-day itinerary and inclusions, there's also a tab that says shore excursions. You can click on that and you can see all the shore excursions for all the ports, and all that information is online. I just want to confirm something. Somebody mentioned that they received a printed copy of the shore excursion brochure, but when I asked groups, they said there is not a printed copy of the shore excursion brochure. Can you weigh in on that? Because we have people saying someone else said they got a printed copy of the shore excursion brochure.
We may have a digital version. I'm not sure that we have a
We,
printed one, but we
yeah,
definitely have a digital, and maybe someone printed it
okay,
themselves. But we don't have our own printed version that I'm aware
okay,
of. We usually send the digital one because we need to also, if there are any changes that we need to make quickly, we prefer not to print it because
okay,
then we can't make them quickly.
gotcha. Um, All right, I probably better make sure that the one we have posted on the website is updated because yeah, we received the link as well as a PDF if I remember correctly, and we
Hmm.
posted the PDF on the website. So I guess John, if you wanted, we could email you the PDF and you could print it on your own, but there's not a printed version. Somebody asked about 110 current on ship there. I think I mentioned at the beginning that I sailed on both the World Navigator and the World Voyager, or maybe I just said I'd been twice. There are 110 outlets. I don't know if Kelly, you want to say anything about the outlets in the rooms?
The outlets, actually, the outlets I thought were super cool. We when you're sitting on the desk, like at the desk, where you have like the vanity, your desk, everything. It's kind of all in one kind of section. There's this there's this kind of thing that flips up, and it has several different types of plugs and voltage.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they have both in the room. I always just bring one of those plugs that allows you
always.
to plug multiple things in. Because if I have a phone and a laptop, and the missus has a phone and a laptop and a hair dryer and curls
Hmm.
and everything out, you end up going, we need more outlets kind of deal. So one of those
Definitely.
things. But there are outlets, so as long as you bring something in that you kind of you can do. Somebody asked, is this the webinar that was scheduled for the 25th? It is not. I don't think I mentioned this before. One of the things we do at the signature groups is before everyone gets on board, I do a pre-cruise webinar where I go through basically everything from attire to dining to weather to all of those types of things. Try to cover everything and do a Q&A. So there will be another webinar, but that's for people who are already booked because it's kind of more of, more kind of dig deeper into things that only matter, I guess, if you're going to go. Somebody asked about Wi-Fi on board. I guess they said cell phone Wi-Fi on board. And to be clear, your cell phone usage will be based on your cell phone carrier. So when you're off the ship, and this is one of the many things I go over in the pre-cruise webinar, but you should always check with your cell phone carrier. I have an international plan on my phone. It charges me, I think, $15 for 24-hour blocks. But Atlas, and we're going to talk in general first. Atlas has internet packages for purchase on all of their cruises. On the MOAA signature groups, it is included. Their unlimited premium Wi-Fi is included per guest, first and second guest only. I don't think we have any triples currently booked. If we do, there'd only be one. But just to be clear, that unlimited premium Wi-Fi is per person. I kind of went through this a little bit more detail in my answer, just because it's really important to people. So it's unlimited premium Wi-Fi. That means exactly what it says. It's you can use all you want, but you can only be in one device at a time. So if Kelly and I were sailing together each of us would have our own account. But if I'm on my phone using Wi-Fi and I want to get on my laptop, I need to log out of my phone and log into my laptop. They do sell, I think, additional logins, but our experience would be, since almost everyone is fine with one account per person, then we didn't go to the expense of adding that for everyone. It was actually an amenity for the group that we have, and everyone has a $100 per person onboard credit. If you go to the website on pricing and accommodations, it kind of lists, in addition to the pricing, what those amenities are. There's actually three of them. A $100 per person onboard credit, once again, only applies to first and second guests in the stateroom. The free unlimited premium Wi-Fi, and then a bottle of champagne per suite are the amenities that we have kind of as a group amenities. Anything you want to add about the Wi-Fi, Kelly?
Well, I what's really great is going with the signature group. We actually don't extend that to every single person on regular voyages. So coming on this MOA vacation with Atlas, this is where you get those kind of extra, like a plus plus kind of amenities. We do offer some Wi-Fi, but it's, a lot of times it kind of goes really quickly. So this is one of those where if you book with MOA, you get those extra amenities. And so I think that that's a great thing that we negotiated for the group.
We did negotiate that for the
We
group,
did.
didn't we? I will say, last year when we went, we had 2 GB per person of Wi-Fi, but we had a lot of people who I guess had a lot of apps running in the background and didn't shut off those running in the background. And if you didn't know,
Yeah.
all the apps want to always be connected. And we had people who went through 2 GB in like 3 days. And I was like
Yep.
shocked because, you know, I'm not on vacation. I literally sit at my desk and I'm like on the internet, checking emails and checking stuff for people and stuff day after day. And for the entirety of the cruise, it was a 7 night cruise. I didn't use my 2 GB, but of course, people who weren't aware that they had all those things running in the background,
Hmm.
were like, I had 2 GB. I'm now out of Wi-Fi. So to kind of resolve that, when we looked to what we could do to improve the cruises this year and next year, talked to Atlas and they said, you know what, we'll just do unlimited Wi-Fi for everyone. So there you go. Somebody asked which of the yachts Western Europe will be on Voyager. I've been on it. That's the first Atlas cruise I ever went on, and last year was on the Navigator. They are sister ships. Kelly, I assume you've been on the Voyager.
I've actually been on the Traveler. I haven't
Okay.
been on the Voyager yet. That's
Okay.
one of my next ones. I already have some picked out for next year.
So somebody called pre webinar and was asking some questions to me. And just for heads up, I'm not a travel agent, but if I'm going to escort a group like this one and I do webinars with Kelly, I actually know a fair amount. If you were to call up and say we're interested in going Atlas to Antarctica, I would not be much of a resource. But what I told them when they were asking about the ships is they're all sister ships, so they're the same layout and everything. Kind of the somewhat comical way I describe it is the ships are the same, just different color carpet. So, yeah, they're all fantastic ships. Somebody asked about self-service laundry, and I actually have a note here to have Kelly kind of do the update. So the suites are in the three categories. What is it? Concierge. I should do it in
We
order,
have
right? Signature,
signature. Yep.
concierge, and reserve.
Yep.
The reserve collection suites do come with complimentary wash and fold service. There is not self-service laundry on any of the Atlas ships.
Hmm.
If Are you still doing the one bag of laundry thing, Kelly, that you did last year?
We do that for concierge and reserve. Well, reserve is unlimited, and then concierge you get one, and then signature it is paid.
Okay, but when I was on it before you kind of went to the included, you could do an entire bag of laundry, and I think it was like 35 or
Oh
40
yeah,
dollars once during the cruise.
we run deals kind of
Okay,
midweek. And
yeah,
then during that midweek time, because if you are going to Dublin first and you spend
yeah,
a couple of days there, you don't want to overpack and come with
yeah.
like a million things, right? So about midweek, I think we run like a 30% off or something. And it's
Okay,
I think it's somewhere around $35 or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, so last year when we did the Greek Isles, you could, I was joking with everyone because I pretty much address the group every night at the pre-dinner cocktail party. But I was joking we were going to have a contest to see who could cram the most weight of laundry in one bag because it's how whatever you can get in the bag they do. I'm pretty sure it was like $35 last year, but a heck of a deal. I know a lot of people like self-service, but it's really easy when you're on vacation just to
Hmm.
halfway through the cruise, cram everything in a bag. You come back to your stateroom either the same day or the next day, depending on when you send it out, and all your clothes are folded, washed and folded for you. So, um, okay. Somebody asked about the slide presentation. As a reminder, I think I just said this, but it will be uploaded to YouTube. We'll
Hmm.
send everybody a link to both the YouTube to watch it and a link to the website. As a reminder, you go to the website, you fill out that book now form, let us kind of know what you want, and then we'll call everybody in the order those book now come in because I do know with only 15 staterooms available, there are a couple categories where we only have one uh, cabin left. And one other thing I wanted to mention since we talked about the laundry, and that's just to kind of touch base again. And I'm sorry if I missed this when you were talking, Kelly, but the onboard attire, there are no formal nights. It's, resort
Yep.
casual. You're on a yacht, whatever you want to wear, you can wear. So a lot of times people when they're packing, they're like, oh, I need to bring sports coats, I need to wear fancy dresses and stuff
No.
like that. Literally, you're on vacation, kind of bring whatever you would comfortably want to wear. And so obviously, if you pack less, you need to launder less. Somebody mentioned their paternal grandmother's family founded a distillery in 1791.
That is so cool.
It is so
That
cool.
is so then you, Stephen or Stefan, but I'm assuming
Yeah,
Stephen, you need to go a little early so that you can visit that distillery.
you need to let me know where it is so I can
Right?
visit that
So
distillery.
John can join you.
Yeah. Uh, Can you just show the dates and schedule again? I assume he's asking about the day-to-day itinerary. I will include that in the email you
Yep.
get tonight. It is also on the website. It kind of goes day for day, but a lot of times people are kind of looking for the time they get to the port and the time they leave. Keep in mind that this is a yacht, so be a little bit more flexible in that time. These are scheduled arrival times and scheduled departure times. Um, the very first signature group we did with MOAA, I know all of you are former military, so you're used to 6 a.m. meaning 6 a.m. It's vacation. The ship kind of tries to keep to the schedule as much as possible, but I know people. Uh, is there $100 gift per reservation or per veteran? It is a $100 per person shipboard credit. The entire ship is for MOAA, and it's for MOAA members and their guests. So the easy way to say it is the first and second guest in every stateroom. I just want to make that clear because every now and then we'll get a triple, but the first and second guest in your stateroom receives a $100 per person shipboard credit.
Yep.
So MOAA members
There's
and MOAA member guests.
and if there's two members
Uh,
who are the friends and family in another suite or another stateroom, they also get that. So anybody on
right.
board who is in a stateroom gets that.
The European entry form for non-EEU residents is supposed to become operational in the last quarter of 2026. If you're talking about ETIAS, ETIAS, that has been delayed 6 times. It's been delayed again. I tell everybody until they have an exact date of when that's going to go in force, we just kind of don't let it go. I mean, literally every year since 2022, they've delayed it to the next year. So if you're asking about that, that has been delayed. Uh, what am I trying to say? The United Kingdom has something separate, and that's already in place. It's when you sign up, we'll send it to you. It is something minimal, like $15. They say sign up for it 48 hours in advance. It's good for like 2 years. But that, I mean, that's already in effect, that United Kingdom. I don't know, Kelly, if have more about that. I'm just going to fall back on the thing of not being a travel agent. But yeah, since everyone's
No.
going into Dublin, it is, for lack of, it's a type of visa that you need. It's basically an electronic registration for anyone going through the United Kingdom. I did two previous groups I escorted this year. And we had people that went through like Heathrow or whatever. And so since they went through the airport, they needed to get it in case. We recommended everybody get it in case for some reason you were to need to leave the airport so you'd have it in advance. But it's a simple enough thing to do. And it's one of the many things I will be talking about next week for those people who are already booked. Um, Maria is asking about special needs at sea. As I mentioned the first time you asked the question, please give me a call when the webinar's over. We'll get that sorted on the scooter rental. Is the port Vienna di Castello the port for Porto? How far is it from central Porto?
So
That's a
I can
good.
answer this. I can
Okay,
answer this
good.
one.
It
So
is the port for Porto.
yeah, it's about if you're talking about getting to the airport or anything, it's about an hour drive up the coast. We actually do port in Vienna, Vienna do Castello, because we are so small. We can port in different places that are, a little harder to get to, and like the bigger cruise lines can't get there, and so that is our port. But it's about an hour if you're looking for central Porto.
There you go. Uh, what are the 2027 MOAA cruises? When you go to, we kind of had a list of the Atlas ones, but when we send you the link to the website, there's a little link at the top that says signature groups. If you click on that, you can see all the signature groups. I'm going to do these from memory. In April, we have a Rhine River cruise with Uniworld. In July, we have the France and Spain, basically the Western Med with Atlas. In September, we have a Iceland with Atlas. And then in September into October, we actually have, and this is designed so that when the Iceland tour ends in Dover, we have a land tour, battlefields of World War I and World War II, where you can literally get off the Atlas ship in Dover. We'll transfer you to London, and then you can do the battlefields land tour. So we have basically one river cruise, the two Atlas Ocean yacht cruises, and we have one land tour for 2027. We have a website for all four of those. So if you're interested in either the Atlas or one of the other ones, just click on the website. All the information's there. You can always call or ask questions. Okay, I think that is, oh, the last one. I'm sorry, got a couple more. What opportunities are available in port if you choose not to go on a pre-planned shore excursion? If you're looking for excursions when not going through Atlas, I think there are a number of places you can go and look. Kelly might have some suggestions. We have a lot of members who use a company called Viator, Viator. You can look at what they have. It's your cruise ship terminals. If you've ever been on a cruise before, you can get off and people are selling them on the
Yep,
pier. Although I would kind of, for safety reasons or whatever, unless you are a very seasoned traveler, I think you can do just as well with Viator and then you're using a company. Although keep in mind, Viator is more of a conduit, so they don't actually do the tours. People who sell tours go to Viator, and Viator kind of meets
matches
you
you.
up between the
Yeah.
two of you. As the building still stands, oh, the building still stands. There you go.
Oh,
More information on the distillery.
nice.
Um,
That's cool. I'll have to look it up while I'm there.
Stephen, if you're on the cruise, if you would like one night to get up and do kind of a little, we've had people do presentations on board. The great thing about us having the whole ship is we have a great deal of flexibility.
Yeah,
So I'm sure a lot of people would be very interested if you wanted to and were willing to get up and just say a few words for everyone to kind of get the history of it all. So anyway, as a reminder, we had at one point, I guess, 50 people on the webinar. We had 200 and some, 215, I guess, register. So I don't think we're going to sell out. Even though those are huge numbers, we just know percentage-wise how many people book. I know a lot of people who were on the webinar today are already booked, just looking for more information or questions I wanted to ask. But please let us know as soon as possible you want to go. Once again, when you look at that deck plan map, which is on that tab for pricing and accommodations, you'll see that there are a number of cabin categories that only have, with 10 cabin categories and 15 staterooms, there are some that are sold out, but there are some that only have one, two, or three cabins left. There's not a lot of space. So just let us know as soon as you want to go. Would love to see you on board. As I mentioned, I'll be on board. Would love to welcome you aboard in Dublin. Kelly, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us today. I'm going to turn it over to you for the final word.
Absolutely. If any of you are already booked, which I think John had mentioned, if you guys have friends or family that would love to join you, I think that would be incredible too. I think this is such a beautiful itinerary. It's actually one that I was eyeing, and then, John scooped it up, and like he said, it's exclusive. So this is not something that's sold online through us anymore. It's only sold through John. So I think that it is going to be so beautiful. You should bring some friends and family, but I appreciate the time today. I know I threw a lot of information out at you, but I appreciate being here. And thank you, John, for always being the best host. I appreciate it.
It is a phenomenal product. As I mentioned, I've been on it twice. I'm going to tell you, we had a couple of people that went last year, and just as kind of a heads up, if you do a lot of ocean cruises and you go on one of these Atlas ships, or if you've ever been on one of these smaller ships with just like 90, 92 staterooms,
You could
it
never
is
go
a
back.
completely different cruising experience. And people mentioned that it kind of ruined them for the big ships. So it is just a phenomenal experience. To me, honestly, and I'm gonna kind of go off script a little bit here. Not that we had a script, but it's to me, it's more comparable in a lot of ways, at least the ship itself, to a river cruise ship in the fact that there's only three decks of staterooms. If you think about this ship with 90 staterooms as compared to a river ship that has 70 or 75, obviously depending on what river you're on, it's only like 20% larger, but it has twice the public area. But it is that same kind of thing on a river cruise ship. If you've been on one, wherever you are, you're close to wherever you want to go. One deck up, one deck down, maybe two decks. Even if you're at the far end of the ship, it's not that far, but it has so much more available on board. It is just a phenomenal experience. I hope to
Yeah.
see everybody on board. Everyone have a great weekend. It'll be a couple of hours. We'll get the email out. We got to download it from Zoom and then upload it to YouTube. An hour-long video takes about 2 hours to do that. But be on the lookout for that email. Give us a call if you have any questions. Fill out that book now form. We want to see you on board. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Bye.